Well, first of all, let's define productivity.
Okay.
Itu buat kamu tuh apa?
Okay.
Right? And then give me your report card.
Okay.
0 sampai 100 tuh nilainya berapa?
So productivity for me is making the most out of the time you have in your day.
Okay. Ya nilai 80 sih for productivity it's quite good ya. Maksudnya juga that's a pretty decent score for a big size startup like you guys, and you're serving like 1 million people. Like maksudnya it's something that you probably should be proud about. What are the tools atau kayak apa sih yang kamu terapkan di company kamu yang so that you are quite productive as a team. Dan apalagi kayaknya you are working from home, right? Like nggak dari kantor juga kan gitu.
Well, sekarang udah mulai masuk lagi.
Okay.
Tapi when we I think when the basics of operations at Tinkerlust is definitely SOPs, like our standards, right? Our CLAs, like those are essential. Like dan ini kita udah mulai dari waktu kita seed stage gitu. Kita udah punya intranet yang kayak semua department udah ada kayak archive of how their things are run, things like that.
Okay, pause. How did you do that? Itu susah loh. Itu nggak gampang loh untuk bikin SOP dari company masih kecil banget, karena biasanya kalau company masih kecil banget frantic, chaotic, terus semua orang tuh punya topinya, mungkin ada 5 atau berapa lah. Jadi kayak semua orang ngerjain serabutan gitu kan. So I think most companies waktu apalagi startup gitu ya yang masih kecil itu pasti mengalami this chaos moment. Udah gitu mereka nggak ada proses, ya kan? Terus orang juga keluar masuk. And it's really hard. It's quite impressive kalau emang kamu bisa bikin kayak gitu. How did you do it?
So it was a project. So it wasn't like an overnight thing juga gitu kayak. Okay. Balik lagi yang waktu tadi sempat cerita year 1 to 2 itu banyak banget yang leave the company kan. Terus saya tuh sempat frustrasi juga karena harus training setiap orang yang masuk. And I was like, oh my God, like every time someone comes in, I'm just telling them the same thing. Akhirnya I was like, okay, this is not working. Gimana ya caranya? So I started to develop SOPs for very simple things. Kayak misalnya kita mau onboarding like a influencer. Okay, ini caranya kayak gimana? This is what you say gitu. And then after that, like I was like, okay, we need to do this for the entire company. So when the department started to be formed, we started it first from decks aja. Okay, jadinya ini deck business intelligence tuh kayak gini, ini deck creative tuh kayak gini. Tapi lama-lama juga kepecah lagi. Okay, ini creative, tapi ini fotografi yang buat catalog, ini fotografi yang buat marketing, ini fotografi yang buat kayak photo shoot, you know. So it's like very detailed. Terus ini marketing, okay, ini email marketing yang triggernya kayak gini. Ini so it didn't happen overnight. Kita tuh update setiap quarter. So we have a quarterly meeting just to revive and update these. So every head is in charge of doing that gitu.
Wow, that's impressive.
Tapi kayak it didn't start with that. It didn't start like that, right? Like so that's what I feel like. You cannot, when you start a company, you cannot compare yourself with like these series Series D companies yang udah kayak
udah jadi unicorn,
nggak bisa.
right?
You have to start small, but your habits have to be formed. So that's a habit that we formed, and because I've never worked at a big company before, like I've never had that experience. Itu almost made me the extreme that I have to be extremely structured. So I am very structured. Actually, sometimes I think structure sometimes doesn't allow for creativity. Tapi I almost feel like structure does, karena you don't think about basics, so it allows you so much more time to be innovative. You know what I mean? Because if you're not thinking about
well, you can only start optimizing or making things more optimal once you have a baseline, once you have a standard.
Exactly.
Because otherwise it keeps on changing every day. Apa yang mau di-optimize mungkin gitu loh.
So sometimes like when we have meetings gitu and something comes up like I think this is a new way. Okay, we would take a pause. Okay, itu tolong dimasukin di operations atau di mana. So it's always up to date, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any specific tools that you use, even though I mean it's not about the tools, right? Tapi any specific platform or framework or tools that you use in the company?
So we're like a huge OKR believer. So that's one of the things that keeps us, but that's more for, tactical and,
OKR
overall
is objective
strategy.
key results. Yeah.
So that's what keeps us in check. Tapi kalau misalnya buat productivity, we have our own intranet. So itu kayak we built our own like platform to manage that. So it's like a library. It's like a content library.
Kenapa nggak pakai Google Drive aja?
Sebenarnya kita pakai, tapi we just have so much already. Like, and also the security aspect.
Okay.
Yeah. So the security aspect kalau misalnya
jadi bikin sendiri intranetnya.
Kita bikin sendiri intranet. Wow. It's based mungkin kayak on Google dashboard ya, tapi it's not Google Drive.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Terus?
Ya udah, we have that. So that was also like pertama it was decks in drives, but then you have to think about it, like one department may have like 12 different ongoing different SOP structures, and then that has to be updated. So kalau sama intranet ini kita bisa ngelihat when was it updated, then we get a trigger for if it has to be updated gitu.
OKR kamu trackingnya gimana?
OKR, we have a team for it.
Oh, you have a team that manages specifically OKR.
We have a team. So we have a strategist and then a project manager that does that, because the team that are responsible to actually execute and achieve those goals cannot be the ones
who think about the goals.
Karena there's no checks and balances. So we have someone yang nge-audit kayak hey, like jadinya business strategist or business intelligence is yang kasih report cardnya. Okay, ini report cardnya you didn't do well, you know, or you did well, you know.
Yeah. That's very smart.
Yeah. And then they also work with the team lead to then kind of analyze why it didn't work well. And then our OKRs are obviously linked to our compensation and bonus structure juga, karena you need an incentive juga kan. Yeah, so then that's
so
where
people
HR...
want to do well
exactly.
in their performance and their OKR performance. Yeah.
And for the longest time we had OKR, it wasn't linked to any type of reward system. We actually just implemented that last year.
Any kalau itu kan this is for your company, right? Any other things that you menurut kamu tuh kayak
are
ini
crucial?
Tuh enggak atau kayak kok ini masih belum optimize ya, atau belum produktif ya? Like what function would that be, or is there something that you are kayak gemes gitu kayak ngeberesinnya?
Kadang-kadang tuh gemes kalau misalnya saya menjadi bottleneck. That's when I'm gemes.
When you are the bottleneck.
When I am the bottleneck.
Okay. Kenapa? Karena kamu you're like reviewing or approving gitu.
Yeah. When a decision should be made already, but they are waiting for me, and then it's like it doesn't go past me gitu. So I feel like itu yang bikin selalu gemes. Kenapa nggak mereka aja yang kayak problem solve, and then they come up with the solution, and then they drive it gitu. So sometimes I think it's about giving them ownership, giving them responsibility, and also trust.
Yeah.
So it's like tarik ulur adalah gitu. But lama-kelamaan I'm trying to let go more. I think it's also my fault. Sometimes I'm too...
you jump in and save the world.
Well, no, I never save the world, but I'm in operations. It comes naturally to me. So sometimes I think that yang paling bikin gemes adalah kalau misalnya salah satu tim menjadi bottleneck. It doesn't always have to be me. So how do it's like a communication barrier, like, and it's even more difficult karena kita kan kadang-kadang masih remote some teams. So that's also sometimes hard to navigate. So I think, how do we get over communication barriers? How do we go past bottlenecks? You know, and not just like stop. Like, kalau misalnya we stop, okay, is there a way in which we can still speed through?
Right. Yeah. Well, from the sounds of it, I'm pretty confident that you're gonna get there. Kok kayaknya you seem to be in a position where your company is already running pretty smoothly, and you have all these SOPs, and I know how difficult that is to do that, right? Karena, I mean, kalau ngobrol sama entrepreneurs atau founders, there are so many companies that struggle with implementing OKR, sampai berkuarter-kuarter atau bertahun-tahun, terus developing SOP. It's not easy. These are not easy things, and I think you got the hard things done.
I think it's also about investment and understanding. Okay, kalau misalnya something isn't working, maybe you don't have the right resources. Like kayak OKR itu, the first couple of years it was me managing them, tapi emang berantakan banget. So that's why I was like, we need someone. So akhirnya ada project manager, tapi akhirnya we still needed another person. So sometimes you don't have enough resources. Dan it's okay. It's not your fault kalau misalnya you're a seed stage startup and it's masih berantakan. Ya, you'll get there when you get the right resources. And sometimes it is important to invest in those resources because resources help you invest in the tools that make your job easier and make your team's job easier.
Right. Okay, so your company is pretty productive, and personally, I assume you are also productive.
I try to be.
Okay, kalau kamu sendiri nilai, well, first of all, let's define productivity.
Okay.
Itu buat kamu tuh apa?
Okay.
Right, and then give me your report card.
Okay.
0 sampai 100 tuh nilainya berapa?
So productivity for me is making the most out of the time you have in your day.
Okay.
And getting as much, like, yeah, I think that's
what is getting the most? What is getting the most mean? Maksudnya tuh, doing as many things as possible atau apa?
Yeah, I think it's like doing as many things as possible to get you to the next stage of whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So misalnya, yeah, like whatever work that you're doing, kayak in the least amount of time juga.
In the least amount of time. Okay, so that's productivity for you.
Yeah, productivity.
Okay, so how would you define a productive day? Itu
for
kayak kayak gimana?
Beda-beda juga sih, kayak what's my mood, right? Tapi
let's make it a week. Kayak in one week kesibukan kamu itu kayak 1 minggu a productive Samira will look like what?
So a productive 7-day week, yeah. So we'll tackle weekday and then weekend. Kalau the first 5 days, it's actually very dynamic. Karena kalau Monday and Tuesday is usually devoted to my team. So what do they need? How do I progress their tasks further so that they get their things done gitu, in terms of the next week. So usually Monday and Tuesday, I cannot allocate any time for my personal individual tasks. And like sometimes working is not just meetings, tapi working is also having enough time to think.
Oh yeah.
Right? And you need that. And so kalau Senin sampai Selasa itu kebanyakan sih nggak ada waktu buat mikir sendiri. Then when I get to Wednesday and Thursday itu udah mulai bisa mikir nih. Udah bisa mulai mikir, dan biasanya for the first half of the day I allocate that for planning out like what is my projects, how is it coming along, whatever I'm doing gitu, Wednesday and Thursday. And then Wednesday and Thursday afternoon balik lagi check in with my team. So and then Friday I usually I'm out of the office. So that doesn't mean I'm not working. It means that's my day.
It means that you're coming here for
I'm coming here. I do my individual projects or like my research where I really just need a fresh mind. But I'm usually pulled into meetings, and if I'm pulled into meetings, I try to do it in the morning. So
Okay.
Tapi that's my work day during the day, right? My day actually starts very early, jam 5 gitu.
Jam 5 pagi udah bangun.
Jam 5 pagi udah bangun. We're early risers, right?
Yeah.
So kalau misalnya nggak bangun jam 5, jam 6, itu udah kayak I'm not productive actually.
So waking up early really sets up the tone of your day.
It sets up the tone. And
what did you do when you wake up at 5?
Okay, so I wake up at 5. First person up, I usually work out. So that's like my what I do.
Apa kamu workoutnya sih?
Running. I run, and even in running you can be productive, Yeah.
Why? You're thinking,
exactly.
Okay.
You're thinking, you're planning out your day. So yeah, I wake up at 5. I do my workout from around, udah allocate like 6 to 7, then 7 to 8 I hang out with my kids, touch base with the family, and then by 9, 10 o'clock I'm already like set on my way gitu.
Work.
Work, yeah.
Terus, and then you end your work day jam berapa?
I end my work day, I would say around 6, but I end my work mind, I think, like when I sleep.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I'm always thinking, I feel.
Okay.
Like, I think you can't, I don't think any entrepreneur has been able to turn it off, see. When I turn it off, it's like during my runs.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Or when I'm like binging on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So your weekends are you don't work, and
my weekends, I usually catch up or like catch up with people, network. You know? Yeah. But those are usually dedicated to my family.
Okay. Kalau kamu bangunnya jam 5, what time do you go to sleep?
I'm usually kayak udah mulai pakai kaos kaki tidur gitu. Itu kayak jam
Your
9.
night ritual.
My night ritual tuh jam 9
ya. Okay.
Yeah,
So
jam
you get
9.
a full
Tapi itu
sleep.
kayak gimana ya, like, and you know this too, an entrepreneur schedule I think nggak ada template-nya. Kayak kita benar-benar harus
There's no
dynamic.
formula.
Kita harus agile untuk kayak what is needed, right?
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What are any tools that you use untuk make sure that you are running your week smoothly, or tools that you can't live without? Ada nggak? Yeah. Ini just to be practical for people.
This is anybody, Google Calendar.
Yeah.
Like everybody's probably using this. But for me, everything is mapped out on my Google Calendar like a week in advance. So I know what to expect, what to prepare for. I think the key to productivity is being prepared as well. Like if you are,
You're such a planner, yeah.
I'm a planner. It gives me anxiety because as an entrepreneur also you deal with so many uncertainties. Why don't we minimize that? Like however way we can, right?
Yeah.
And to be over prepared is a way for you to minimize that.
Right. How do you make room untuk ada hal-hal yang unexpected?
It gets me frazzled, to be honest. Like today, and it gets me frazzled, to be honest. Like if it's a busy day, it sometimes. But I think you just have to take a deep breath, and you're like, okay, how can I restructure this? And banyak korbannya juga gitu. Kalau misalnya I plan something and it doesn't. Usually my family, like my husband, or my team. Kalau misalnya a meeting is urgent, like, I'm sorry, I have to move this, right? And I hate disappointing people. So sometimes I think actually to be ultra productive, you almost do have to give your time, you have to give space as well, and allocate some time to breathe.
Yeah, I think so. I think kalau misalnya you have all of your day mapped out to the minute, I think it's very difficult because, if you don't, I think the mind also likes to play tricks on you. Jadi kalau misalnya kita kayak, we missed this or we missed that, malah tambah stress, and it's just not gonna make you productive, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And also, just because you have the time doesn't mean you have to use it for something. Gitu kan? You can be open.
Yeah, I mean,
and rest.
Itu penting. Itu penting banget. Well, I think for me also, you need to learn how to use time yang works for you. Meaning, kayak for me ya, kan kamu juga bangun pagi. I also wake up in the morning. I think mornings are my best time to do anything. Yeah. And I really keep it quite sacred. Meaning like, aku cuma reserve my morning itu untuk, misalnya kalau udah waktunya untuk kerja. It's like because I know it's like my freshest time.
Yes.
Right? Jadi kayak otaknya masih jalan, masih on, kopi is like on my hand, like, then I do the hardest stuff, atau kayak stuff yang mesti mikir gitu. Jadi I don't like to waste it on meetings.
Yeah, you don't like, exactly,
For me, I mean, doesn't work for everybody, tapi kalau buat aku, like, I do meetings after lunch.
Yeah. Okay.
Karena itu udah kayak mulai,
yeah.
And you have other people to do other stuff, right? Tapi kalau misalnya my individual task, because like most of my individual tasks are thinking and strategy and planning and writing, creating slide decks, I do it in the morning.
And that's good.
Yeah.
So anything that requires massive amounts of brain cells is morning.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you're obviously quite busy doing Tinkerlust, ya kan? Tapi kamu juga ada other projects. Terus you started this thing, Stellarwoman. Apa itu?
So Stellarwoman is a community for women entrepreneurs and leaders di Indonesia. So kita memulai itu udah 3 tahun. Sebenarnya it was like a side passion project that turned into something amazing gitu sih. So dalam 3 tahun kita udah grow sekitar 15,000 member.
Wow.
Di seluruh Indonesia.
Amazing.
So we are a platform and community, and we try to give access to tools and resources for women trying to reach their goals.
Why Why is this important for you?
Karena during the entrepreneurship journey, I realized that it's a lonely journey, and that's one thing. That's one base of context. The second base of context is that as a woman, we play so many roles, and sometimes we put our dreams on the back end, like it's not important for us because we have to satisfy our husband or our kids, or you know, and we forget about our fulfillment. So I experienced that, and I was thinking that many other women probably do too. That was my assumption, and I was right. And so I wanted to have a place where they can come together and support each other and be reminded that they indeed can reach for their dreams.
Semua membernya harus perempuan?
Well, yeah.
Okay, that's really cool. So, you know, do you experience, I mean, look, we spoke about this a little bit earlier, right? Kan banyak banget, I assume, karena kamu, you know, you found this Stellarwoman, people want to talk to you about women empowerment atau gender equity. You know, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think that every entrepreneur definitely has a unique experience. The woman's experience is quite challenging at times, and it is because of internal barriers, you know, like imposter syndrome, but also external barriers, society expectations and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think it really depends on the individual how you're going to use those opportunities to reach, you know, or to become who you're supposed to become, gitu. Tapi kayak we cannot deny that it's very challenging for women, whatever industry you're in, especially the male-dominated, which is, you know, tech or venture.
Okay. Well, I think dari tadi kita udah ngobrol panjang lebar about your experience and how you're running your company, how you set up your own business operations, how you set up your team for success and for productivity. And I think that speaks a lot louder than you know, your opinion about women empowerment, ya kan? Jadi kayak it shows that, you know, how, you know, successful you are as a leader, or as not just as a woman leader, but like as a leader. Yeah, take the win.
Thank you.
So what's next for you? Kamu, you know, anything that you still aspire to do? Like, what is it?
I think I'm honestly,
it doesn't have to be about work, by the way.
Yeah, I think I'm in growth mode. I mean, like learning mode. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's okay to be happy where you are, but also wanting to go and explore what's next, right? Like, that doesn't mean you're not grateful, kan?
And you're not happy.
And you're not happy, exactly. So I think I'm always going to be on learning mode, like very curious about different industries. There's a lot of exciting things going on right now. So
which industries are that?
I'm curious about fintech. I'm curious about crypto. I'm very nervous, but interested. Yeah, and just about the digital ecosystem here in Indonesia. I think I'm always gonna be. I love being in this ecosystem. So, but I don't want to be stamped as an expert yet. You know, I hope to be one day, but I still want the opportunities that I can absorb and be learning and be curious. Yeah.
Cool. You know, when people talk to you, mungkin biasanya mereka kan akan ngobrolin soal yaitu tadi women empowerment atau misalnya kayak Tinkerlust gimana. Is there anything you wished you got asked more? Kayak coba gue sekali ditanyanya tuh soal yang ini gitu loh. What would that be?
Productivity. I love talking about productivity. I love talking about how do you become your best self, like how do you optimize your potential. I love talking about that. I love talking about also running, like if you ever see me and you want to talk about running, like how do you get started in running, what can running do for you, how can you run for your happiness, how can you run you know for your life.
You're such a running ambassador.
Okay, and also please don't mistake my passion for running as like athleticism. Like you know what I mean? Like, just because I'm interested in it doesn't mean I'm fast.
You don't have to be so humble. We know you have run marathons and all of that. Not everybody can do that.
But
I mean, I can't run a marathon.
You could if you wanted to. But I think I'm next step is learning, and anything that you're curious about, I would love to talk about juga.
Okay. And if there's, you know, from all of this, or maybe something else yang kita belum ngobrolin.
Yeah.
What do you wish like people know more about? Like, what is the takeaway from you?
What is the takeaway from? That's like a deep question. I have no idea. What is the takeaway from me?
Yeah. The one thing you probably want people to know more of, or you wish like people just know more about.
Know more. Yeah. I think that a lot of people ask me like, "Oh, Kaya, how did you get so successful?" Right? But the thing is, like, I don't think I'm successful. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still working as hard as anybody to get to a point where I find myself successful. So I think that, don't ask me that because I don't even believe that I'm there yet, right?
Yeah. But how would you define it?
Success.
Yeah.
I think success can come from your internal definition, which is pure contentment and happiness. But I'm gonna give you the market definition of success, which is being financially secure and having those resources to live the life that you want, have the time that you want. And I'm not there yet. I feel like I am. We both are. We're still hustling. Maybe we're still hustling hard.
Not that we like the hustle culture.
Not that we like the hustle culture. I don't think so. But I will tell you, like, I am in and out of burnt out all the time because now is the time that I can work hard so that it can afford me the life that I want. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to get hate from that. But do you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like no successful person can say that they just coasted.
Yeah.
They work their butts off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, since you mentioned the word burnout, right, and you are in and out of it a lot.
Yeah.
So, what do you do when you get burned out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so burnout is about endurance. And I really think that your endurance will prevent you from getting burnt out. And so just as like a new athlete, right? I'm going to give you like an analogy, but like a new athlete, like if they want to run a marathon, you're not going to tell them to run 10K right off the bat. You're going to tell them, oh, run 1, and then it builds up, right? That's just about your work endurance. Like when you jump into a startup, like the reason I can work longer hours, for example, is because I built up that endurance and also being able to work smart. So I know exactly what to do to get the impact that I need and the return that I need. So it's just about understanding your personal endurance and how much you can actually work until you get burnt out. And you have to know at what point is your burnout stage, right? And so I think that I have understood myself. I've understood my endurance as well to know, okay, as soon as I reach this part, I got to take a step back, you know? So I think that I've been lucky enough to not, I mean, I am in and out, but I think my burnout isn't like, it's like one day. It's like, you know what I mean? And I think I think that after you've built that.
So it's also how you manage your energy, like energy management, right?
And the awareness about how you spend your time. Where do you get your energy from? Who are the people who are energy drainers, energy vampires, the frequencies and everything? What type of meetings will drain? So you have to map that all out, right?
Yeah. So I mean, a very practical way to do it is, I mean, what I told my team, kayak dalam waktu 1 minggu, right? In your calendar, just kind of like score or write down. For everything that you do, which one, yang mana yang bikin energinya tuh kayak naik, mana yang bikin energinya drop, and then after like 1 week, then you see, oh, maybe you add another week, and then you compare, and then you see like, oh, kenapa ya tiap meeting sama ini orang selalu kayak bikin energinya turun, and then kalau sama yang ini kok happy, whatever. And I think, that gives you some sort of idea what to prepare for, because you're not going to be able to avoid every person, right? And those people who drain your energy, you might not be able to avoid them. Mungkin they're your boss. Maybe they're someone that is, that is very important to your work. So, just to prepare for that. And maybe if you meet that person, then mungkin yang nggak usah, don't schedule too many things after that, right? Kayak gitu kan.
Exactly.
So,
And I think it's also like when you find what clicks in you, you get into a moment of flow, and when you're in flow, that's when the energy comes back to you. So a lot of entrepreneurs, that's why they work so hard, because they actually enjoy it. Like me, I feel like you and I are the same. We actually enjoy our work. No? I mean, I
enjoy the work. Tapi, you know, obviously, there needs to be, you're right, like awareness.
Yeah.
Ya kan, kalau udah, no matter how much you enjoy things, like you just can't do it. Period, where it's just too long atau too burden, right? Ya kan misalnya gini deh, you love running, but if I tell you to run 500 kilometers non-stop, kan nggak mungkin, gitu kan?
So, you have to know.
Yeah, you just have to know when to stop and rest and recharge.
And you cannot expect everybody to be like you juga, gitu.
Yeah.
So you have to get that in check as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about a bunch of other stuff, right? We are coming to the end of our conversation. Cuma usually we close it with some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Jadi rapid fire itu kayak, you know, apa yang muncul di kepala.
All right.
Just
tell
you.
you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Kopi atau teh?
Water. I don't drink caffeine.
Wow.
You know.
All right. Yes, I know this. Anjing atau kucing?
Kucing, obviously.
Bitcoin atau Ethereum?
Ethereum?
Okay. Buku yang menurut kamu semua orang harus baca?
Surrender by, what's the guy's name, you know, Surrender?
The Surrender Experiment?
Yes, The Surrender Experiment.
Okay.
Yes. Love.
Okay, cool. Kalau lagi bosen, kamu ngapain?
Kalau lagi bosan, Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah.
App di HP kamu yang you can't live without?
WhatsApp.
Okay.
For sure.
Lagu yang lagi paling sering di playlist kamu?
Anything by Ali Gati.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yang paling penting dalam hidup?
Family.
Okay. The things you wish people know more about you?
I'm actually a pretty fun person.
Okay. You're not just all serious and all business.
I think that a lot of people think I'm serious, but I'm actually fun.
Okay.
But only a few people see that, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
The most valuable lesson you've ever learned?
Faith.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is something wonderful about your life that you feel you haven't appreciated as much?
Oh, my husband. I think he's the biggest blessing in my life, yeah.
Oh, that's very sweet. Okay. Well, I think we're just going to close it off with that. Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
Yeah,
having
this
me.
is like a great conversation. Yeah. Thank you semuanya. Maybe you'll come back one day
For sure.
as another guest.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.